Alright, greetings you guys, man. What's happening? Hey man, just back a little bit to do a little more FPJ tech, man. I've had people asking about how to make the booze. I think it's stuck inside of one video, but and also I just sort of came up with, I had a really unfortunate incident, man. I made the most amazing comfrey FPJ. My comfrey plant went off this year so fast for my plants. I got about 4 patches. And I was able to, pull enough to make a good batch, and I had about a quart of juice coming out of a half a gallon. It was like just insane, extraction rate, and the thing was blowing open, man, like pushing the glass weight out of the jar. I'd never seen anything like it. The craziest one I ever seen, man, active. And I'd set it up, and I had it up here, and I silly enough put one of my precious half-gallon glass mason jars on top of it with water to just exert a little pressure. Like, I like to use just a gentle gravity kind of just a little tiny bit of force. It's not squeezing it, it's sort of a gray zone. I find if I just set it there and don't do anything, that the stuff is still loaded with juice, and then I don't want to squeeze it out. But anyway, for me, I feel like a little bit of water pressure is fine. That's up to you. If you want to get real anal about it, then don't do it. And if you want to get totally crazy and don't care, then squeeze the crap out of it, as they say, right? But I don't suggest that at all. Anyway, so I've got, this is water, and I mixed into this water the leftovers of my last elderflower FPJ. I was saving it in the fridge because I had another one coming right behind it, and if I add them together, then I'm going to have a really good elderflower hooch wine, KNF, I don't know what I don't even know what it is, because yeah. It's champagne, man. I'm using champagne yeast, right? So it's FPJ champagne, maybe. I don't know. I'll think about this. I'll come up with a proper name at some point. I'll wake up one morning and it'll just be there. Anyway, so what I did, my new idea is a 5-gallon bucket, because you could make some things. Wendy Cornberg, she made this really cool little gizmo, but man, I don't feel like fiddling around making anything. So I have this really cool old school container my friend gave me, and just a bucket, right? So I'm setting this into the bucket in the middle, right? So now it's just sitting in the middle. Now these big filter funnels, this also has a filter in it, by the way, that you can remove. This pops out and you can get different grades of this mesh. It's not that fine, so I do use the paint strainer bag in addition to that. But once I set the funnel into that container and set it there, it can't fall over. Right? It's just no way. It's just, it's done. It's a done story. You see what I'm saying? Look. You know what I mean? Even if I do this, it can't fall over. It's stuck in there. So I think this is a good answer to that issue, and I encourage you guys not to be silly and break your FPJ and lose your precious glass fermentation vessels. It was quite disheartening. Anyway, so here we go. I'm going to struggle through this, because this sucker is crazy too. Wash my hands real quick. There's a little fermentation weight in here. We're going to get rid of that. And again, this has good stuff on it, so I got a little container here. I'm just going to plop this in here, and this is going to go into the garden, because after I'm done, everything will get rinsed and cleaned into a container of water and be taken out to the garden or something. I generally sometimes will be hesitant to use that water on my container cannabis, because I don't know what the strength is going to be. But if I throw it in the garden, man, it's fine. Believe me, wherever I throw it in the garden, the plants are just like, ah! They love it. Yeah, so we're not going to worry about that. I think I'm going to try and loosen this up, because my last experience is it's been sometimes a little tough to get this moving. So maybe just a little stir, man. Oh my god, I wish you guys could smell this. It's like vanilla. It smells sort of like vanilla, man. It's insane smelling. If you guys have, elderflower FPJ has got to be one of my, I don't know, man. I keep just getting amazed. I'm like, oh, this one's my favorite. That one's my favorite. I'm like, oh god. The best by far so far, though, is this rose FPJ that Pedro Jackson's mom made up in Anacortes, the Wild Rose FPJ. Nothing can touch that, man. I'm going to try to get out this year and make some good wild roses. I think some of the heritage roses also would be amazing, man. Some of the heritage roses too. All right, so we got that. You guys couldn't really see what I did there, but you know, I basically just got the bag here. And what I'm going to do is like sort of twist that a little bit and get it like this. And now I'm going to turn. Let's see if I can get this rigged up here. Yeah. Now I'm going to turn this jar because there's still a lot of stuff in there. I'll just turn it and leave it like this. Nice and safe on the floor where it can't fall anywhere too far. I'm not ever going to do this up on the counter anymore either with anything that could fall. That was a real pain in the ass to come in from working on the greenhouse and have to clean up a quart of comfrey FPJ and all the broken glass. And, you know, my floor is nice and clean. That was a positive thing. There's always a bright side, you guys. There's always a bright side, right? There's always a bright side. All right. So, now, we'll be right back. I'm going to let this do it, so I'm going to just sort of pause this, and then we'll be back with this, all right? All right, so here we are, man. It's just been a little while. A lot of times if I'm really trying to get, like, all of my extract out of my FPJ, man, I'll leave that thing for, like, 4 or 6 hours, sometimes even overnight, you know? Usually the way I have it set up, the funnel's going to touch the top of the container, so no bug or anything is going to be able to actually get into my FPJ, and the top's going to be sealed up by all the plant matter there. So I don't really worry about it. I'll leave it for hours. But in the interest of making this video and the fact that I really want to have a good amount of this FPJ material left in there for the hooch or the champagne, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to go ahead and take it. So, anyway, I put a little weight of water on there. My method, you can be a purist if you want. It's sort of something I've come to do. I suggest it. It's not too much, man. Don't try and squeeze it. It's just a little pressure, a little help. Anyway. So, here we have this. So this is already, like I said, this water that already has some of the elderflower. Oh God, you guys, you really got to go make some of this if you have elder around you. I can't wait for the actual berries. I have to go back to that woods and go try and find some more. I'm not going to go there to try and take any more flowers because I think I already took enough. I'd have to go to a different area. It's lucky. It's sort of like a little arboretum on this park, I think, and that's why those elders are there. Because I've never seen any elder growing in Seattle really so much. But I guess I haven't really looked per se. So there we go. Now, if you notice, the water's here. It can't be there. This stuff will expand. I need to bring the water down to here. So before I really agitate it much, I'm actually going to go ahead. I have something going here. This here is going to be for my cleanup. I think I already got the other one. I already went and used it. So I'll be rinsing and cleaning everything into this little bucket so that I'll be able to use it. So this excess little bit of liquid on top, I'm just going to pour in there because that's going to go to the garden. And I'm not worried about it. Because if I don't bring that liquid level down, we'll have a problem. Or a little bit more. So now I'm about right here, and when I push this plant matter down in there, now I'm here. Well, I feel that's a little dangerous still. We don't want to have any. Now I'm here. I think that's going to be okay. That's pushing it. Maybe a little lower might be fine, but my intuition tells me that's going to be fine. Follow your gut, man. Your first instinct is usually the right one, right? So I've learned that, you know, in my years. I'll tell you what. And rinse the little bag into this bucket. Yeah, my garden's going to be happy today. I'm going to go give this to my nectarine tree. It's just setting fruit, so I think this will be good. And I'll probably put a little WCA in there and a little bit of some vinegar. and go offer that to my nectarine tree, right? All right, so now we got this, and I know, and I'm going to take my spoon just to open that up, make sure that it's got it mixed with that water good. Man, this is going to be a strong one, you guys. This is really thick with plant material. This is going to be insanely good. So, and here's my yeast. So you can go to any homebrew stores and get these, like these filter funnels, this yeast, all kinds of other groovy stuff. Man, actually for doing fermentations, of course. Makes sense, doesn't it? This is just a Premier Cuvée. This is a dry yeast. I think I sort of like the dry ones. One of these little packs will make 5 gallons, and they cost about $2.50, $3. Okay, so it's actually super killer deal. I hope there's enough in there. I think there will be. I'm actually just gonna get a little water in this and try and get every last little bit because I know we can use it. Yeah, there's a little bit of floaties there. There we go. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna get a little bit more. I see a few more little bits in there. Get every little bit I can. All right, that one's done. Time to go to the brew store again. And now just a little light. Just make sure that stuff is getting into the liquid, isn't just floating on top. I would even recommend not even using quite as much. I didn't realize there was that much plant matter. Your plant matter should actually be maybe about 50% or less dry in your thing. This one was probably, I bet if it was all expanded, was up here somewhere. But it'll still be fine. It'll just be really potent, and I won't get as much. I won't get as much hooch out of it in the end of the day, right? So I got my little airlock. You can sanitize these just with hot water. I mean, this is already sort of a wild fermentation. I'll tell you the honest truth. I don't really worry about sanitizing these. I rinse them out really good with hot water. I clean it with soap and stuff. If I started seeing it getting funky, I would sanitize it. A little vinegar, man. Mix some vinegar and some water. Shake it around. Let it soak in there for a little while. It's going to kill anything funky that are really going to go south on you. And then rinse it with fresh water. If you're really paranoid, go set it out in the sunlight for a while. So this goes on here. And then you seal this up good. You can get these little things at the brew store too, and they have little grommets that fit a standard size drill bit, so you can just take a drill bit and drill a hole in the lid. Uh-oh, I got a slight technical difficulty. This lid doesn't fit this container well. I'm going to make another lid for this. Anyway, that's what you do. If this screws on here tight, I forgot that this lid doesn't fit this container. But I have another one. It's not going to be an issue. That's what you do. This thing will be bubbling in like 6 to 8 hours. So I wanted to refresh you guys too on the sort of the algae fermented experiment. I guess you can't really, there's not really much to see going on here. But that is the algae and the wood ashes with the little FPJ in there. And it smells, man, it has a really interesting smell. Now that funky algae poopy sort of water or whatever I put in there, it smells sort of, I don't know, sort of trippy, you know, but now this smells sort of saline or almost like ocean or something, which is odd because there's nothing from the ocean in here. But I'm going to let this go. I think 10 days is what my intuition has told me on this one. So we're going to go 10 days on this, and then we'll see what happens. But, you know, again, I think pond or swamp water would be great for this. And as soon as I get myself up and going and set up, I'm going to look into cultivating algae. So if anybody actually has any information about how to grow algae, I'd love for you to come share that on the Living KNF page or some links here on the YouTube or whatever. Because I think this could be a cool tech, man. This dude was really impressed with this algae biochar. I'm guessing they fermented. They didn't really say what they did. So I'm going to experiment and figure it out. You know, mixing our KNF tech into this situation to even make it better, right? You know, because they weren't using KNF, man. So if we're going to take it to the next level, you know, that's the best thing. We feed off each other. You know, we feed off each other. We listen to this thing. We have a different idea. We shake it this way. We shake it that. You know, some things aren't going to always work out, but so far, I feel I've got the basic premise in my mind good enough that these dreams, these intuitions start coming to me, guiding me as to try this, try that, you know. And as long as we're just sort of following our basic principles, I think we're going to be all right, you know. I just say play it safe with if you're experimenting too, you know, play it safe. If it smells really, if you ever get anything smelling bad, don't fuck with it. Like I would actually drink this, even though it was pond scum. But I'm gonna give it a few more days to, but I would at the end. I think I could taste it and not feel scared. And on that tip, there's been some conversation about the FAA and whether or not it needs to be in a sealed container or not. Because there's a lot of tech. Chris, I think teaches with an airlock, and I don't know if I just did. I swear I was taught to do it with a sealed lid. I'm old, man. I'm getting 52, man. So sometimes I smoke a lot of weed. I could be off on that, but not having it sealed. But that's the way I've been doing it. This is my 4th batch. This is like some real deep sea halibut and black cod, and this had like heads and some gut and all kinds of stuff in it. This has been going now almost a year, and I've been using it. I took a little bit out, and this has been over a year, okay? Now look at that. There's nothing, it's burbling. I opened it up, I see a bubbling here. It smells fine to me, man. It smells great. It doesn't really have much smell. When I opened that up, there wasn't a lot of smell. A faint fishy odor. That is what I would term that. I'm going to rinse my spoon off and just, we'll give it a little wiggle around to see what's going on in there. So when I do open it, I like to investigate. Oh yeah, man, I see it just breaking down, Look at that. This is still, but it's still a lot of, I'm starting to get that more clear liquid. See, this is what we want right here. Now, we talk about being scared of, like, tasting other things, man. This is good right here. Oh my God, you guys. It's sort of like, man, I'd use that in cooking for sure. Yeah, a little bit of chili, a little bit of sweet. You're in business, man. Well, this is really starting to come along now. I'm seeing a lot of really good action here. This is really like all weird and fluffed out now. This is really starting to happen, I think. It takes a while, man, for some of this. Is a lot of fat in these fish. There's like an incredible amount of fat in these fish, especially that cod. It's really, I want to just get this turned around and get some of the, get that down into the mug, all that stuff that's like super fluffed out. There we go. There's a head. The heads on these things were like, man, you don't frick, man. This was crazy as a fish haul. Now this one I think is actually pretty useful. When you're spraying your plants, I bet you if you have a 1 to 1,000 of this in that water and it gets on one of those little soft-bodied insects, I bet it fucks it up pretty good, man, because this is so oily, you guys. When I get this on my hands and stuff, like my fingers are going to be... I'll smell this, and it's not a bad smell. I mean, wow, I just tasted some of the pasty stuff. Man, it's trippy. It's like, it almost reminds me of like the curd of lab. It's like sort of sour, but sweet and slightly fishy. It's not very fishy, which is a trip, man. Yeah, it's a trip. But anyway, if I die, you guys, look after me. Oh God, I just ate it, so I might die. But anyway, coronavirus, good luck to you with this shit in my system, huh? I think that's stronger than the virus. I don't know. I'm going to go for that. Because that's just the way I feel about it, man. But anyway, yeah, there we go, man. I guess that's all we have to share today. Going to cap this off, put it in an appropriate sized jar. It's all good. Mix all this leftovers up, go give it to the nectarine tree, and we're going to see you guys soon. So there's more than one path, man. I'm not going to say that it's right to use a sealed, to do FAA with a sealed thing. I'm not going to say that. And I'm not going to say I think it's right to use an airlock. What I am going to say is I've done 4 batches without an airlock, and they've worked great, and I've tasted and used them in cooking, and you saw it, eat them. With nothing but actually really good feelings afterwards, you know what I mean? I've never even got it's made my tummy feel good. I might forget to eat lunch today now, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be like, whoo, wow, what was that just went in my body? So don't be fearful, man. Just do things correctly, you know what I mean? Like that was good fish that went in there. That was like from the ocean less than 36 hours or something, and kept cold and nice the whole time. You know, even though it was just guts and heads and stuff, it was not funky. You know, so, you know, gold in, gold out, right? Garbage in, garbage out, right? So, you know, use the gold and don't fuck with the garbage, man. You know, use the garbage for some other process that's not so finessed, you know, because this is a really, should be a finessed process, right? Just like the FPJ and stuff, you know, the more you cut corners or use lesser quality, it's just, that's what you'll get out of it. But you're going to use the same amount of human energy, you know, or if not more, and it won't be as pleasant if the stuff isn't nice to work with either, right? So, you know, just, you know, use what you have though too, man. Like, don't freak out. Like, I feel like everything is about a balance, right? I follow a lot of sort of Buddhist perspective in my mind. I feel like just naturally how it goes, and to me, it's like that middle path. Like, don't be stuck in any kind of particular dogma, is my opinion, because I feel like that you're just going to be open more. You're going to learn more. You're going to expand more. And you'll just find the way that works for you. You know, there's more than one path to the same destination, right? That can be just as good. And we shouldn't spend time trying to argue about this or that way is right. We should just spend time about refining our practice to what works for us, and then share that, you know, and to inspire other people to start a practice. I think a lot of this stuff too is intimidating, but just start somewhere, right? And wherever you are, just keep going. I've been out of this now going about 3-something years, and I'm still, you know, keep refining things, coming up with new. I'm still excited as the first day I came across it, you know, and maybe more so actually, because now I'm starting to really discover. I'm just, you know, each time I do something, it inspires me to want to do more, and it just sort of goes like that. So just start. Once you start, you'll get sporulated, you know, you'll get myceliated with this vibration, you know, which is a healing and loving vibration. And on that, I heart you. I bless you, man. I love you, and I hope to see you soon. Here's the mommy now. She's out with the babies now. Mommy, come here, choo-choo. Yeah. Hey, one thing I wanted to mention on the hooch too, man, is that it usually takes about 2 weeks to be ready. But you'll see that it'll stop bubbling really hard, and then it's ready, and you can strain it. If you go to homebrew shops, if you want it to be real clear, there's if you let it sit in the fridge for like a day or two, it really, you know, fridge temperatures, it'll settle out and become real clear, and you can carefully siphon off the real clear stuff without disturbing the murky layer on the bottom. And I've let them go as long as like 2-3 months on like a banana one, and it came out like brandy, man. I swear it was freaking amazing. So I don't think there's any like maybe on some things, who knows what will happen. They might go bad for a long time, but from my experience so far, even going like a couple months is fine, and as short as like maybe even a week to 10 days, it could be a drinkable beverage. All right, just to clear that up while we're looking at mommy there. I should tell you my soul.